Hockey Town, it's a place where dreams are found. We fought so many battles here, now we're the ones that they will fear. The cup resides within our town, we won't stop no letting down. The cup is ours for all to drink, it's our time, let's rock this ring.
Yo, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Hockey Town Rundown. You're here with us, your beautiful hosts, once again, Carlo and Zach. Carlo, it's New Year's, it's 2025, New Year, new wings.
New Year, new wings, dude, for real.
Everyone's been saying that, and it's true, because the Red Wings under Todd McLellan are now 4-1 and are on a 4-game winning streak, as it shows in our thumbnail and down below the Toddfather 4-game winning streak. And then we also will be going over some World Junior updates. But Carlo, real quick, how's everything been since the new year, buddy?
Dude, it's been great. I mean, you can't really complain considering what we're seeing pretty much every other night out of this team. So that's a great way to kick off the new year and what they're doing and how they're playing and just the rejuvenation. 2025 has been pretty solid, man. Weather's been good. There's still no snow, which is kind of wild. I really don't have any complaints, brother. How about you?
You're going to call me crazy. I love snow, and I hate the fact that we haven't been getting any snow.
I do too. I should preface, I'm with you. I do like the snow as well. I also like walking my dog, and I don't really like walking him in the snow because he gets all like groupy. If that's even a word.
I'm a firm believer that if it's going to be this cold, there at least should be snow on the ground. Fluffy snow only, not the hard iced over snow, though.
Give me like 2 solid weeks of snow and then we're good. I want it gone.
Before we jump into everything, Carlo, we want to stop and take a quick moment and say thank you to everyone who is stopping by and joining us on this brand new episode. However you view us on any of your streaming devices, we are on YouTube where you can view, watch, listen to us. You can also do that on Spotify, believe it or not. Our videos actually get uploaded on there. And then we are on Apple Podcasts. If you are viewing us on YouTube, why don't you go ahead and take a second and hit that subscribe button. If you haven't already, hit the thumbs up button. You guys are actually really killing it doing all those things. Carlo, we are blessed to start off such a great year in 2025 and see tremendous results from all of you guys viewing, liking, commenting, and subscribing to us and giving you guys good content. At least I hope it's good content. Let us know what you feel about the content that we provide to you guys. And then if you are listening to us on Apple or on Spotify, you can go ahead and rate us 5 stars. That helps us out a lot. And then hit that follow button as well. And then you can hit the notification bells on all of those platforms to let you know when our new episodes and shorts come out. So, Carlo, what do we got in store today? So we got 4 games that we're going to go over. We're not going to cover too in depth about them, but we will go over them. We do have Red Wings news, talking about the World Juniors. Our main topics, obviously, we're going to go and talk about the Toddfather, the Red Hot Red Wings, the Toddfather effect, and what goes into everything that he has provided for the Wings and what that means for the players. And then we'll touch on around the league news at the end. And so, Carlo, let's go ahead and jump into it. With the game recaps, obviously on the scoreboard, it shows the Red Wings are on a 4-game winning streak, 4-2 against the Washington Capitals, 4-2 against the Pittsburgh Penguins, 5-4 against the Columbus Blue Jackets, and then 4-2 last night against the Winnipeg Jets. Carlo, you had Alex Lyon and Talbot kind of going back and forth with these. Lyon played in 3 of the 4, I believe it was.
Yep.
Everyone is showcasing that they can score finally again. It's so strange how everything has 180 turned ever since they fired Derek Lalonde on December 27th, 2024, and hiring Todd McLellan and Trent Yawney.
Yeah, it's insane. It's on the last pod, I think I said it's very rare when everything's going wrong for everything to start going right. You don't see that often. I think that's why this is so, I don't want to say it's shocking. I mean, to a point it is, but this is like, there's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of hype with the Toddfather. And a quick shout out to one of our followers and big on Twitter, Jasmine, who coined Toddfather. Loved it. We're running with it. Claps to Jasmine because that was awesome. And it's sticking everywhere, which is great. And it's just a great nickname. Yeah, man, I think the one common thing, obviously, that everybody can see on the top right here is they're scoring 4 goals a game. How are they scoring 4 goals a game? McLellan has clearly tapped into the untapped. how he did that, I think it's as simple as just believing in the group, obviously having good conversations. And I put out a post last night. It's crazy what a coach who believes in you can do. And I say that because how many times have you heard Derek Lalonde say in the past, and I don't want to dwell on the past too much, but how many times have you heard him say like, oh, this isn't sustainable, or we're just not the team that can, fly off the rush and do this and do that. Like, he did not, I don't think he believed in the group. He certainly didn't believe in the group as much and as passionate as McLellan does, and Trent Yawney as well. Because the PK, I mean, quick little shout out, but they skunked Winnipeg, first power play in the league, killed both their penalties. That's huge. Anyways, there's a belief happening with these two gentlemen behind you and this group of guys, and it's wild. Like, Todd McLellan even called out Berggren. Not called out, but he called his offense coming, and then boom, 2 games in a row, scored. I think both were breakaways too. They were absolute beauty goals. Just Bardowski, it was awesome.
Yeah, they both were identical to each other. Yeah. The one against Pittsburgh and then the one in Columbus, correct?
Dude, the one in Columbus reminded me of Patty Kane's in Chicago.
Yeah,
it was sick. But this is great to see. And back to my original point, a lot of things have to go right, and you don't see that often when everything is going wrong. So to start seeing things start to take off here in the good way, I think their power play right now is ranked 5th in the league, which is awesome. PK still needs a little bit of work, but I think last night was a great sign of what they're doing, and that things are sticking, and that, the practices that they're having, things are starting to stick. And I think we saw a great test of that last night when we held the Winnipeg Jets to 0-2 on the PP. So there's just a lot of good things happening. There's a lot of momentum. There's a lot of hype. And this is great. And it's really a big reason why 2025 is kicking off to be pretty awesome so far. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I want to agree with you that, the things that Todd McLellan has done so far, I guess I want to backtrack and kind of go in depth about Derek Lalonde a little bit. I think it was very clear that he had certain players on the team that he relied on for certain things that happened on the ice, game in, game out, right? But also, to your point in saying, he wasn't utilizing the group all in one or didn't believe in them. I agree with you, but I don't want to say it like that. I don't think it was the whole group that he didn't believe in. I think he truly tried to take the best skills that each player had and utilize them to fit the system that he wanted. And that just purely did not work the way that he wanted it to and expected it to. And thus, in return, you lacked in the offensive department, right? And now you insert someone like a Todd McLellan, who comes in and he can't play favorites right now. He has to learn each player individually on their own to fit and figure out where they're going to be and how they're going to work in his system, right? Because I think I can say confidently right now, Carlo, that even right now, after playing 5 games under Todd McLellan, they still fully do not understand his system, which is fine, but they are gaining it as they continue moving along and they're getting more comfortable. And that was very evident going up against the Winnipeg Jets. I think that's helping out the boys. I think the fact that a lot of these players too may have a chip on their shoulder, because I think everyone's job is on the line. Maybe obviously Raymond, Sider, Edmondson, players like those are excluded from that. But I think everyone wants to showcase to this guy, hey, I want to be here. I want to work hard and I want to be part of this team. And I think that's what's happening right now. And we're seeing that.
Yeah, I think you're bang on, dude. It's like you have a new boss. Obviously you're going to work hard for your new boss. You're going to show this guy, okay, like this is what I'm here to do. This is what I can do. And if the thing is that I think there's also a part where, and I think Todd even mentioned this. And by the way, I love what this guy has to say post game. Like, I'm actually watching post games again. Like, I stopped watching post games after I think the first week or two of the season. But he said in one of his post games, it might have been post practice, actually, one of the two. But he said, I asked people who were confident in themselves currently to keep going, play harder, play smarter, play faster. Cool. But it's what he said about the folks that were down on themselves. Go look in the mirror and go find it. Go find what you have. And you really can't say that any better to these guys. And they're finding it. Like, they are finding it. I think some can still maybe put it into a fifth gear. But the good news is that they've shifted into other gears. Are there more to be shifted into? Sure, there always is. But we're seeing these guys find the untapped. Like I said, Todd is tapping into the untapped. It's crazy. Do I think they know the system? To your point, no. I don't think it's possible to know and get to know a system fully, within such a small sample size. Todd even said it himself with 7 to 10 games. I mean, we're halfway there at this point. And the signs are really, really good. If this team is listening as well as they are to him during these practices, to go out there and execute to the point that they have in these last 4 games, this is really promising. Like, this is very, very promising. And suddenly the heat's off Stevie because, he's even got these free agents being a little bit better than they have been. And maybe that's what Steve saw this entire time in these guys. He just didn't have the right guy kind of directing the unit. So, yeah, this is really good, man. The Toddfather is here. You know what else I like about him, Zach? He never puts it. He never takes. He's very humble. Like, people will direct the question to him, and they'll say, "Oh, like you," and he's like, "No, it's not me." He's like, "It's the guys."
No,
credit the guys. He has said that nonstop, and I love that about this guy. That's a player's coach right there. But he's also got a little bit of a hard ass to him too. You can tell, and that's exactly what's required in today's NHL, and particularly and specifically with this team, we are seeing some things go right, and it's. I'm just really pumped, man. It's just so good. It's so good to see it.
You know what's so funny talking about his media pressers, whether that's pre, post, just media availability during practices, whatever it is, it has certainly become a ritual, I think, amongst a lot of Red Wings fans, including myself, to now watch those every single day that they get posted, because I can say to you with full confidence that before McLellan was hired, I was not watching any media, right? Because it was so doom and gloom. But now, like you're saying, the way that he speaks to him, the way that he answers the questions. I mean, like you said, he talks about Berggren, then boom, Berggren comes out of nowhere. His answers, he gives good answers. And it's not that they're tough questions, and he wants to answer them. You can see it in his face. You can hear it in his voice that he wants to answer them to the best of his ability, but he also wants to be fair to his players, right? They're asking about Veleno being on the top line. They're asking about Berggren. Then they're asking about other players. And like you said, he gives full credit to the players when these media people come asking to him, what have you done and what are you doing to bring this success? And he's like, well, it's not me. I'm not out there on the ice. Exactly. These guys are. So good call out on that. Carlo, let's go ahead and just kind of touch on the games a little bit. Sure. We did have Alex Lyon in the Caps game. The Red Wings scored 4 times in that first period, and then they did allow 1 against. But I wanted to throw in there, Carlo, before entering this game, the Red Wings were 3-0 when scoring 3+ goals in a single period. The Red Wings did end up winning this game 4-2. So are you surprised that they ended up winning this game with that stat? Are we seeing a correlation there that if the Red Wings score 3+ more goals, they're instant to win?
You know what I think it is, Zach? I think it's the start. It's the start of these games, and they're coming out flying, and they happen to be scoring goals. I mean, the first period against Washington, what did they score? 2? They scored 2 or 3 in the first period. When you come out like that, it's hard to. It's the NHL, and when you got players that are confident, when you got players that are playing at a high level, like they have been. Side note, there is a higher level, but again, like when you got players playing like that, they come out there flying, and then they score, and then they score again, and then they score again. It's hard for any team to battle back from that, because you got to think about what that does to the psyche of the other team. It's like, dang, these guys just scored 3 on us in 13 minutes. Bang, bang, bang. That affects the other team too. So, yeah, I mean, when you come out buzzing and you score some goals in the first period, you give yourself the best chance to win. And I think it's a great stat that, if they're scoring 3 or 4, I mean, like I said, You look at this scoreboard; they're scoring 4 goals a night. It's hard to lose if you're playing defense right and your PK's clicking. You score 4 goals a game, you're going to likely win a game, if not 4. Bada bing, bada boom.
Exactly. And the goal scorers in those 4 goals were Alex DeBrincat ×2, Patrick Kane, and Lucas Raymond. And with that, Carlo, in those goals everywhere, Patrick Kane gets his 1,300 point on Alex DeBrincat's second goal.
Yeah, man, only fitting too, for that to go to EB.
Yep. And he was the second U.S.-born player to reach that. And Carlo, yeah, that was it. I mean, the Capitals came back to score 1 more later in the third. But the goods of this game, you do have Veleno on the top line, and that was a great call. That paid off for McLellan and the team, and it certainly has throughout the rest of the games as we move along too, right? He may not be putting up the points that we surely want as a top line player, but when we communicated via text message, I mean, you kind of said it, like, he is the body on that line, right? He is that's why they call him Swoleno. He's probably the thickest one on that line, right? So good on him for being placed up there. I don't know if you want to touch on Veleno real quick on what it means for him being up there.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's really good for him to be up there for him. I think when the new boss comes in and says, hey, you're my guy. I need you to do this, and I need you to play this many minutes. Again, before you even step on the ice, you're feeling good about yourself. It's like, wow, our new boss just basically gave me a promotion.
Yeah.
You're obviously going to be pretty jacked. And then you parlay that with the fact that Veleno is just a walking muscle with probably like negative body fat. The guy's jacked. His legs are wild. I mean, you can see that in the way he's playing, the way he's going into the corners, the battles. He's not winning them all, mind you. But he's playing with way more heart than we've seen him play in the past. And he's complementing Larkin and Raymond very, very well. And I think a little bit of the logic behind that is, I mean, Veleno's a center. He's a very good back checker because he has his legs. When you're in a position where you're on a line with Larkin and Raymond, I mean, Larkin hasn't scored, right, since November 27th before he started lighting up again. Right, we'll get to how he started lighting up again in a minute, because I think that's pretty awesome the way that all went down. But if Veleno is the one that's doing the back checking, not to say Larkin's not, of course he is. Larkin's a great two-way player, but Larkin was just so focused on playing defense that it affected his offensive abilities. Now you insert a guy like Joe Veleno on that line who can take a little bit of that defensive load off of Larkin, and look what's happening to Larkin. His offense is starting to come back. So huge shout out to Todd McLellan for identifying that and actually executing something like it and putting a guy up there who can make Dylan Larkin be a little more like Dylan Larkin and give Raymond the freedom to be a little more creative to do what Lucas Raymond does. It's a one of those, man. He nailed it, and it's just great to see. And Veleno, good for him. He's answering the call. I will say that it's very nice to see, because it wasn't long ago that Veleno was on our who's being scratched list. And, like, to see him do a complete 180 specifically is just quite special. And that's obviously credit to Joe Veleno, but also I know Todd McLellan would say, oh, it's give the credit to Joe Veleno. It's like, no, man. It's like, you deserve some credit too, so please take it, you humble son of a gun.
I want the watchers and listeners to go ahead and leave down a comment in the comment section, if that's on YouTube, Apple, or Spotify, to let us know if Joe Veleno was a write-off for you, because I'll be honest with everyone, I was ready to give up on him. I was like, this is Zadina. I think I said that in a previous episode where I was like, I am ready to write him off. If there is someone that you can scratch, it's between him and Berggren. And boy, Carlo, what a huge difference. I mean, they are literally making me eat my words. I would like to see, like I said, more production from them on the score sheet, right? Maybe get some assists, get a couple more goals here and there. But hey, if Joe Veleno is doing exactly what you're doing and providing that extra oomph so that players like Larkin and Raymond, as they are doing, to score more, I'm okay with that too.
Yep.
Because he is contributing one way or the other, and it doesn't always have to be in points. And I'm sure Berggren, we're seeing that with the same for him too. So Yeah, this is all really great stuff. Yeah, I think the shout out goes to McLellan for believing in someone like Veleno and that extra confidence boost. And we all know that Steve Yzerman loves Veleno. He drove him to that Toronto game for a very specific reason, right? So I think there may be a little favoritism in there somewhere. But continuing on with this game too, Carlo, this game easily could have been 7-2 Wings with their opportunities that they had. Can we expect this type of play for the rest of the season? I mean, I don't even know why I'm asking this question, because clearly they can. They won the next 3 games. So is this sustainable for the rest of the season, do you think?
That's hard to say. I would like to say I hope so. I mean, listen, they got to play lights out every single night. And if they're dialed in right now, and I'm not saying they can't do that, they're showing some really, really promising signs. If they can continue to play the way they're playing, dude, I think that they have a very good chance to make some crazy leaps and make the hockey world go, holy crap, who are these guys? The one thing that stood out to me the most, there's 2 things. They haven't been outshot since the Toddfather came in, and their giveaways are down substantially. Like, I'm talking an average of giveaways being down probably close to 30 to 40%, which is, again, that's quite substantial. So if you're giving the puck away less, if you are not being outshot, you got to shoot to score. Dude, yeah, like they could absolutely do some crazy things here on out. It's going to be a lot of work, but you listen to these players, man, again, post-practice, post-game, from what I've been hearing, like, they want to do it. They talk about practice all the time, how fun it is, how engaged they are. They're obviously winning games. They're feeling good about themselves. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if these guys crave practice. Like, they win a game, it's like, let's go back to practice and figure out how we can get better. Like, you know what I mean? When you start to find a groove, you want to, I mean, for me, you want to figure out, okay, how self-reflection, how can I get better? Let's go back into that groove and let's do a little bit better. Like, not to say it's mechanic. I know McLellan doesn't like using that word too much, but you want to have a somewhat of a structure when it comes to, playing, but playing with sustainability and winning with sustainability. And I think all the characteristics of that is there. We're seeing it. It's just keeping it alive, keeping it nourished, and keeping it moving forward is going to be the task for McLellan, for Yawney, and that coaching staff, and even for the players. Still a couple guys I'd like to see get tapped into. Tarasenko, I think his time's coming. Casper, I think his time's coming. But we're just seeing some good things out of our top 2 lines right now, man. And that's, your top 2 lines they're there for offense. They're there to score. We're seeing it, and we're winning off of it. And I'll take it to the bank.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the way that the Red Wings are playing, there's definitely a lot of differences that we're noticing. I mean, you even said too in text messaging, right, that instead of actually dumping the puck when they're in their zone, they're actually just flipping it out of the zone and giving their team time to actually make the change and have the players out on the ice before the rush comes or just anything else, right? So there's a lot of key changes that this team has implemented to make everything better. And yes, while we do want certain players to actually thrive a little bit better than what they have, but like you've said too, we need a little bit more action too. So maybe another 5 games we should see players like the Tarasenkos, a little bit more of the Cops, maybe a little bit more of the Comforts, maybe someone like Casper starts getting on the board a little bit more, right? We definitely need, maybe not need is the correct word, but we definitely want some of these players to be doing a little bit better.
It's the way they're playing each game, the way they're going at each game. They're starting really good. Their second periods kind of they get on their heels, but then that second intermission's big because then they come out banging in the third again. And that's what's getting them through these games. And that seems to be a very common thing. And you know what's great about this, Zach, is it's actually a good thing that there's a very couple of common traits in each of these games. That is consistency, and that is what gives you the thought of, okay, maybe this is sustainable. Because they're clearly playing a structured approach in every single game because it's so similar. Those high flips that you mentioned, like, that's awesome, dude. You flip it high during that puck and it's hang time, your players have time to go and create offense and catch up to the play, as opposed to dumping it. It rings around the boards and it's probably a 3-on-2 the other way, like it was for the first 2 months of the season. they're playing a very consistent brand of hockey in each of these 4 games. And folks, that is very good news. That is very good news.
Well, yeah, just to keep it even lighter for everyone that is watching or listening to us. Yeah, for the Wings versus Pens, I'm just going to kind of point out things that I'm noticing with these next 3 games as we go in depth. The Pens, the Blue Jackets, and then the Winnipeg Jets game is that in this game against the Pens, they led the whole entire way, right? So Berggren opens up the scoring. Kane takes the lead back in the second, and then Comfer takes the lead back in the third, and then Larkin getting the empty netter because of Lucas Raymond. Right, that was very unselfish.
We got to break that down, dude.
Touch on that.
Yeah, we got to break that down. Like Lucas Raymond, literally, when he passed Larkin that puck, he gave Larkin an infinity stone. That was that moment.
I'm laughing because I agree with you.
The energy shift that happened at that moment was everything. And mad props to Lucas Raymond for. I mean, he like pumped it too. Like he was gonna go, and then last minute he saw Larks. He's like, "Oh no, we're giving this to Larks," and Big Daddy Larks woke up, and that was a transfer of power right there. That's what it felt like. And look at Larkin go now.
If that was me and you in that situation, and I was Lucas Raymond, and let's say we're in juniors or something, I 100% am not passing you the puck because I want to be selfish, and that is very unselfish of Lucas Raymond to do. Especially for his captain. Dude. Yeah, it is. And that's something to where it's like, okay, next season, it's not a fixture right now. They keep swapping, right? But that A certainly does need to be on his jersey next season. I firmly believe that.
Man, I really think Lucas Raymond and Moritz Seider are the assistant captains of this team. It's just unofficial. Whether who at the end of the day, for me, those are my assistant captains. When I watch this team play, those are my assistant captains. I know I can count on those 2 guys. I really don't care who's wearing the A on the ice. I don't know how much it even matters to these guys or to the coaching staff.
But Todd to me, that.
He did.
He did say that. He's like, you don't have to wear an A to be a leader in this locker room, which is true. I guess for me as a fan, I want it on his jersey so I can buy that jersey.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. 100%.
So, but and the quick stitch that I wanted to throw in here for the Blue Jackets game is that you actually had the Blue Jackets scoring first. So the first, or I guess the second time technically, that the Red Wings under Todd McLellan are behind. You did have Patrick Kane showing up to tie it 1-1. Gus Bus, Eric Gustafsson getting his first goal as a Red Wing.
What a rocket of a shot too, eh?
Yeah, and then the Red Wings just kept on going and going. The Blue Jackets actually did keep it very close. It was a very close game. They kept on coming back and tying it. Captain Larkin did get it to make it a 4-3 game, but with 36 seconds left, an expiring penalty kill. I got Sunday scaries this morning, everyone. I apologize. Jonathan Berggren gets the puck out of the box thanks to a block by Ben Sherratt and a great diving effort from Tyler Mott to set up Burgers for the game winner, 5-4 win. Carlo, I wanted to touch on this, is that this is the one game that we've seen the Red Wings kind of go back and forth with a team under Todd McLellan. So I don't want to say that this was probably the most challenging game, but was it the most challenging game for them?
You know what? It could have been, because Columbus is one of the best teams at home this season. They really, I think they've only lost 3 or 4 games, and for Detroit to come in there and play a good brand of hockey and come out of there with a win is massive for this team. And that's probably why they went into Winnipeg last night and put up 17 shots in the first period. They carried some crazy, crazy momentum from that game. And quick shout out to Ben Sherratt's booty for that wicked good assist. That was awesome. What a block. Big booty block.
Burgers was kissing his butt after the game, dude, for sure. In that locker room.
Oh, yeah. That was awesome. Big Booty Benny. Blocking them shots.
Dude, Ben Sherratt's got a lot of nicknames now. OT Benny, the overnight assassin, Benny Booty. I like it, Carlo. Maybe we'll put that on a t-shirt here.
Yeah, there we go.
Who knows? But then, talking about the Winnipeg Jets game too. It's the same thing as any other game. You had Larkin opening up the scoring, so the Red Wings are starting out hot. Like you said, you got Raymond scoring in the second, Alex DeBrincat scoring in the third. Larkin gets the empty netter. Seider gets 3 assists. Raymond has 3 points as well, a goal and 2 points, and then Kane and Larkin 2 points each. Carlo, this was the top team in the East, right? And so kind of like how you said, they or the West, sorry. Yeah. have taken all this momentum and just keep on applying it forward. I mean, I'm just going to ask it again. Is this sustainable? Can they go on a 6-game winning streak? Because the last time that the Red Wings won 4 games in a row was February 17th to the 27th last season, where they won 6 in a row. So is this possible that the Red Wings could do this again?
I think it's absolutely possible. The way they're playing, like win one game, win 2 games. It's like, okay. Win 4, and 2 of those 4, one is against the best team in the West, and the other one is against the best team at home. You go into their barn and you steal a game. Why would I say it's not at this point? You know what I mean? Like, things are going really well in a lot of areas. There's a lot of forward momentum. There's a lot of weight behind that momentum, pushing. They can absolutely go on a 6-game winning streak. And I guess parlay that with the fact that they're going to be at home now for, I believe, the next 4 games?
Yeah, they got a homestand here coming up.
3 or 4 games. Like, dude, again, it's crazy how everything is going right when everything was going wrong. Like, I'm eating my words because...
Oh, we all are. I think Carlo, I think 90% of the fan base are eating their words currently right now. There's not very many.
And you know what? I'll be honest, they're delicious.
I agree.
I'm all in.
Yeah, I don't think there's very many people out there that's going to sit there and say, well, I knew that all they needed was a new coach, right? There's very few people out there. If you are one of those few, please let us know down in the comments. And we could probably sit there and agree with you. And I think we said it, like, a new coach could probably come in here and win you maybe 2, 3, 5 max new game, right? Win you 5 extra games, right?
But the game against Winnipeg, is that still a scheduled loss? Regardless if you have a new coach? Yeah, it probably is.
Yeah. Yeah. And so
what's a scheduled loss, Toddfather? Tell me. What is
it? And after this win, Carlo, the Red Wings now have 38 points in the standings with 39 games played. They're 17, 18, and 4. They're very close to a wild card spot now. They're only 2 points out of the second wild card spot and 4 points out of the first. And you have Tampa Bay and the Ottawa Senators sitting there. And Carlo, I just wanted to throw this out there. The penalty kill under Todd McLellan and Trent Yawney has improved from 69.2% to 79.6%. Goal scored per game is up from 2.68 to 3.1, and goals against is down from 3.26 to 3 goals against. Carlo,
big.
The way that this team is moving forward, we're not going to get a top 5 pick anymore. Not even 2 weeks ago we were saying that. 2 weeks now, moving forward, we're in it. Are we in it?
We're in it. We are. We're in the mix right now. We are absolutely in the mix. And you know what, dude? Like, I know Tampa's got quite a few. Somehow Tampa's got a ton of games in hand. So you got to look for them. But Boston, I don't know what's going on there. What are we, 6 points out of third in the Atlantic?
Yep.
I'll leave it at that. 6 points with the way these guys are playing and the fact that they're going to be at home for the next 3 or 4 games. I can smell 6 points.
Yeah, and then even thinking about it too, coming up in February, like mid-February, you're going to have the 4 Nations tournament too. That's a lot of rest. That could be beneficial, or it could really hurt your team, right? Looking at the Red Wings, just thinking off the top of my head, long periods of wait time typically doesn't go well for the Red Wings, but I do believe that with this new head coach, he's going to tell them, hey, you still got to be working out. You still got to do this. We may still have to do practice. I don't even know what the rules are behind that. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just going to ask that. I don't know.
They should be doing on or off ice training regardless, right? Or if they want to do on ice training, they can just go to somewhere else, right? But
the good news is that every other team's going to be in the same boat, man. That's the thing. Every other team's going to be in the same boat, and everyone's going for a pit stop. So, if we can come out of the pit stop hot, that's going to be huge for the remainder of this season for this team, and could very well be the difference maker for where we finish. And if we're playing hockey a little extended this season.
Yep. And Carlo, just kind of going over some stats, some points of some players over the last 5 games with Todd McLellan and Trent Yawney on board now with Alex Tanguay. You have Dylan Larkin with 7 points. I should have put this in order and I didn't. So I should start at the top. Lucas Raymond has 8 points in his last 5 games. Dylan Larkin, 7 points. Alex DeBrincat, 7. Kane, 7. Sider, 6. Burgers, 3. Comfort, 3. Gus, 3. Tarasenko 2, Veleno 2, and then Kopp 2. We're seeing a lot of players getting involved and contributing to goal scoring and even just playmaking in general. I mean, even talking about the power play, I can tell that the power play has changed a little bit because all the players are moving in the offensive zone now. They're not just standing there waiting, right? And players are actually taking not that they weren't taking really good shots, but the positions that they're putting themselves in to take those good quality shooting opportunities. It's magnificent, just the night and day difference that Todd McLellan, the Toddfather effect is truly unreal, Carlo. Like the things that he has done to this team. And it makes me want to ask this question. Are you thankful that Steve Yzerman never made any of those trades that we wanted him to before bringing on Todd McLellan? Would things be a little different, or would we be in the situation that we're in right now? Like if we got a Jacob Trouba, are we still going to be able going after like a Dylan Cozens? Like how does this affect trades moving forward, or even trades in the past?
I think in hindsight, now that we've seen this pay off, I think the coaching change, like if I had a priority list, coaching change for me, it was always number one. I think I was pretty vocal about that.
Yeah.
Trades were secondary. But I mean, the fact that this guy's coming in here and again, he's tapping into untapped resources here. Shout out to my buddy Darren. We talked about this all night last night. Like Gustafsson has 3 points. Like, he's tapping into Gus. Patrick Kane is being Patrick Kane. Like 2 weeks ago, I thought he was washed. Yep. Now he's Patrick Kane again. Like he's tapping into these guys. To me, that really puts trades on the back burner, man, on very, very low heat. Let's keep this train rolling, right? Steve's probably thinking, okay, let's keep this train rolling. Unless an offer comes that's like you can't really refuse, then obviously any GM is going to be like, okay, let's dance a little bit here. But I think trades are on the back burner right now, unless something great pops up, because he's got these guys playing as a team. He's got these guys having fun. He's got these guys playing as a 5-man unit each line, and they're rolling, man. These lines are rolling out. I don't think trades are really not – trades are always somewhere around, right? And they get plucked. I just don't think Steve is actively trying to do a forceful type of trade. Not yet, at least. We'll see. We'll see what happens come deadline. But am I happy that we didn't trade anybody? I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question. I guess I'm 50-50. I'm just happy that we have a coach who believes in this team, because look what's happening as a result.
Right. Yeah. No,
Ted Lasso, baby.
I definitely don't want to make it sound like, a forced trade, right? Like he wasn't doing a trade just to make a trade, right? Like Steve Yzerman genuinely, maybe he thought that like a Jacob Trouba would actually benefit this team a little bit, right? Having that big boy out there and just murking people left and right. And I'm sure Todd McLellan would love having someone like that. But yeah, that's one of those things where you'll just truly never know. Maybe there is something in the works now that we're seeing players be utilized somewhat properly now, at least some of them. But I did want to talk about some of these players that we talked about with their points that they're getting lately, Carlo. And you have someone like Lucas Raymond in this 82 games right now. Well, I should say it like this. In 39 games, he's got 16 goals, 25 assists for 41 points. He's about to have another breakout season. In 82 games, he's projected to have 34 goals, 53 assists for 87 points. Then you have your captain, Dylan Larkin. He's quickly turned it around where he's on pace for 34 goals, 36 assists for 70 points. He's got 16 and 17 currently right now. Alex DeBrincat, he's about to have 1 point better than what he did last season, but I think he can put it up. He's definitely increased the goal output. He's on pace for 36, and he's got 17 right now leading the team. And then 32 assists is what he's projected to get for 68 points. And then Moritz Seider, I don't know. Carlo, it always goes back to that conversation that people always say, you need to have 2 different defensive awards or defenseman awards, right? Because the Norris typically now just goes to the person who scores the most points.
Yeah.
Right. Cale Makar, Quinn Hughes, players like that. Because Moritz Seider, he really should get defensive defenseman of the year award with the way that he's been playing. I mean, playing against Winnipeg, I think it was over 26 minutes that he played. It's just absolutely insane. And he's on pace for now 50 points, and that's going to tie his record when he entered the league and he's on pace for 8 goals and 42 assists.
His last shift against Washington, where he was literally out there jousting, fencing, I don't know what he was doing, but just getting his stick in the lane with Ovechkin, blocking shots, running over, I think it was Tom Wilson that he just ran over him. Moritz Seider is becoming, right before our eyes, one of the worst players that you can play against as an opposing team.
Yep.
Like, he is just he's a different breed, man. He's a freak show. The block save that he made, I think it was a kick save.
Part-time goalie against the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Like, he is doing it all. Then he goes and gets 3 apples last night. You cannot ask for better. Like, you can't. You can't. For a defenseman, just let's stop for a second. Let's just claps for Moritz Seider, man, because he deserves all the credit right now. He is just on another level, and it is. I don't really have many words for it other than just go watch the clips. Like, go watch the clips online, because they are like, you will smile. I promise you're gonna smile and be like, holy shit.
And those clips that Carlo was talking about, we have been posting them to Twitter and also on YouTube in our shorts feeds. So go ahead and check those out. We really do appreciate it. Go ahead and give us a follow on all of our social media platforms as well. Twitter, X, Facebook, Instagram, all those places. Carlo, and then talking about Patrick Kane too. What a turnaround. I mean, you talked about it earlier. You said that you're ready to write him off. He's washed. He's old, kind of send him to his grave type of thing. But he certainly has turned it around. Now he's on pace to match his point total from last year. Granted, it will be with 27 more games played than last year. But yeah, he's on pace for 77 games played, 18 goals, 29 assists for 47 points. So I truly do believe, actually, now that the way it's going, that he's going to exceed that 47-point mark. I would not be shocked if it's not over 50 at this point. But what does that mean for someone like Patrick Kane? Because honestly, Carlo, I even said this before Todd McLellan came in. I do see the Red Wings re-signing Patrick Kane even for next season. Does that still stand with you, or is that something you would like to see the Red Wings do if he continues doing what he is doing with 7 points in his last 5 games?
I would say he's just as much on a showcase as anybody else. Like, just because it's Patrick Kane doesn't override the fact that, hey, it's a contract year. Like, if you want to continue to play, show me you can still play. And he's doing that. He's found a stride. He's found a groove. He's found that other gear. He's playing well. He's passing well. He's back checking well. I never thought I'd say that. Like, dude, I'm seeing him like actually skate hard on the back check and actually make a difference. It's a contract year for him. I do expect him to play hard, like I would expect any player to play hard, if they want to play next season, if retirement's out of the question, or at least it's being pushed for another couple of years. I could totally see him being re-signed. You look at the relationship that he has with Alex DeBrincat. It looks like he has a growing relationship with Lucas Raymond and Moritz Seider. His relationship with DeBrincat's son, it's a very tight-knit group there. I can see him wanting to stick around specifically in Detroit for another year after this season. But the feeling needs to be mutual. Yzerman needs to want him there as well. And as long as Kaner can keep doing what he's doing and keep playing the way he's playing, I don't see any reason why he can't come back for another year.
Let's go ahead and jump into the Red Wings news. That was basically our main topics without announcing it. I think everyone kind of got the gist of that. But let's go ahead and talk about the World Juniors. That's pretty much for the Red Wings news right now. Carlo, unfortunately, Axel Sandin Pellikka and the Swedish team did lose to Finland in the semis 4-3 in OT. But he did get voted one of the best 3 players for Sweden at the World Junior Championship tournament. How does that make you feel?
It makes you feel really good, man. He put up some really good numbers. It was totally painful to see him lose. I had Sweden going all the way and beating your United States Freebirds. I love the goal song, but that's about it.
That probably wouldn't have been my first choice of the song, but whoever picked it, I am very happy that they selected that song.
But no, ASP looks really, really good, man. He's very exciting. It's wild how big of a bomb he has on the point for such a smaller guy. He's just a gamer. He's dialed in. I watched it was like a 2-minute video of him talking about the World Juniors, and he just has like a stoicness to him. fits right in with the mold of the Detroit Red Wings, and I really can't wait for him to jump over to Detroit. It's gonna be great.
I don't mean this in a disrespectful way by any means, but I truly believe that ASP is our Walmart version of Leonardo DiCaprio. I think they look exactly the same as when he was a young little lad, to be honest with you. So.
I kind of see it. Yeah, I kind of see that.
Just random thought that came into my mind. But yeah, they Sweden at least gets to play one more game. They play Czechia. Actually, today we're recording on Sunday, 1-5. They play today at 3:30 p.m. And then that's for the bronze medal game. And then for the gold medal game, you have USA versus Finland. But yeah, Carlo, for ASP, this game, not trying to go too in depth in it, they had multiple chances. They had Sweden themselves. They had well over 40 shots on net compared to Finland's. Jesse Kiskinen, I know, got a goal against Sweden, and he was also voted one of the best players for Finland at the World Junior Championship. So congratulations to him. I don't know if you want to touch on that, because I know that is a toughie subject still for a lot of Red Wings fans, of how he came into the Red Wings organization by trading Andrew Gibson a second, and then obviously the rest. So
yeah, I mean, is it a touchy subject? Remains to be seen. I mean, we haven't seen neither player suit up and play at the NHL level, so it's really hard to compare the two, and it's even harder to compare the two because one's a forward, one's a defenseman. So I mean, I don't know, there's not much for me. I don't really have too many comments on that one. For me personally, like I think our defensive unit, with the guys we have, the guys coming up, I think we're pretty solid. Like if I'm thinking in 3 to 4 years from now, I think our D is going to look really, really good. Barring that we're not making any dumb free agent signings, because I think you're going to make free agent signings, especially on D. Granted that they're not dumb ones or bad ones, our D is going to be rock solid, dude. And then you got Kosa and Augustine as your two goalies, dude. Seems to be fire.
I think Jesse Kiskinen is going to be a great addition for this team when he does make it. It's not about an if, it's when he does make it. I mean, in this tournament, Carlo, in the 6 games, he's got 5 goals, 1 assist. Yeah. And then you look at someone like ASP too, talking about his points too. In his 6 games, 4 goals, 5 assists, 9 points, 6 penalty minutes, and a +8. You can't ask for anything more than that. I still think maybe Palika has a chance at winning MVP of the tournament, but based on the way that it's going, it could be Trey Augustine, because Augustine is going to the gold medal once again. And they're going to be playing against Finland after being Czechia. He now holds most wins for Team USA in the World Junior Championship all time. What does that mean to you, Carlo?
I think it's just our future is really, really bright. Like we have players, breaking records that are coming up. And you can't ask for better. I don't know. Can you ask for better? I don't think you can ask for better. Like Trey's sick. He's got a swagger about him. He's got an attitude about him. ASP, swagger, a little bit of an attitude. Like these are good things you want to see at this level before they break it into the at least to the AHL, if not coming over to Detroit. So this is all really, really good news for us, man. Like there's a very bright future ahead of us. And if we can pull some brightness out of it today, which is what we're doing, or what Toddfather's doing, then that's going to make it's going to make those days even better to celebrate when those days come, man. So a lot of good things are happening for the Detroit Red Wings organization deep down in the pipeline.
And last but not least, not most forgettable, but Max Plante also going to gold with Trey. That's going to be huge for him too. He doesn't really get too much playing time. I think it's right around the 10-minute mark every game that he gets to play, third, fourth line duties, right? But he doesn't look out of place out there, honestly, at all. He's really good with the playmaking. That you could see the offense coming from him when he does get the opportunities to. So good luck to Team USA. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I want to hear that Freebird song go off at least 10 times during that goal.
10 times.
10 times. 10 times. That would be sick. But yeah, Carlo, and just one last question. Let's say, just a hypothetical, if Trey Augustine does win gold and then goes on to win the NCAA championship for MSU in college, does that mean that he should just instantly make the jump to Grand Rapids Griffins next season?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to be on GR next season. I do think that, because I mean, you look at the goalie, you got to look at the contracts that we have too, right? Husso's done after this season. Jack Campbell was signed to a 1-year deal, right? So he's done after this season. Yeah, I mean, there's some room for him to come up. So I think you're going to see Kosa and Augustine in GR next season. And you're going to start to see your first glimpse of the goalie tandem of the future. And I don't want to jinx anything, but I think they're going to be probably one of the best goalie tandems that we have seen I'll just go within a long time.
Yeah, a long time is a really good answer. Probably never, honestly. Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see, right?
You said it, not me. Hey, right. Confidence is good. I get it, man. The Wings are playing good. Everyone's confident. I'm with it. I get it.
All right. Well, I believe that's it for the main topics and Red Wings news, Carlo. So jumping into the around the league news, it's only one thing. And you kind of touched on, or we both did. We talked about snow earlier and how you only won it for 2 weeks. Well, let's talk about a place that actually never gets snow. Winter Classic in Florida, Carlo.
Yeah, like that's so silly to me. Is that confirmed?
Yes.
It was confirmed?
Confirmed, unconfirmed. The rumblings are already out there. That means that that's probably what's going to happen. I'm actually not familiar on which teams it would be, but obviously it would be between the Florida Panthers, and then they were trying. The rumor was that they're trying to get Tampa into a Stadium Series game, both probably held in Florida. At that point, you might as well should just let them both go head to head at that point. But I don't know. I think it would be cool. I would go to an outdoor game where it's warm. You wouldn't? You wouldn't?
Yeah, no, I would. But to call it a Winter Classic is just like how winter and then Florida. I just don't get it. Like to escape winter. So hear me out, okay? I'm right across the border from Detroit, and I'm sure there's many people in Detroit who also do this. But we go to Florida to literally escape winter. They call us snowbirds. So when you have the NHL's Winter Classic in Florida, it's just so it doesn't like it's like a big X in my brain just keeps it doesn't click and it doesn't register because how can it be a winter in Florida? I don't know, man. The NHL needs to figure out what they're doing with the Winter Classic. I was reading that the one that just passed was the lowest watched Winter Classic, or the least watched, Winter Classic of all time with 920,000 viewers. Like, that's bad.
Do you believe, well, I guess I'm going to ask a few things. Do you believe it was because of the date changed, or do you believe it was because the teams that were selected to play in the Winter Classic? Or do you believe that people just don't like watching the Winter Classic? Did you even watch it?
No.
Yeah, see?
No. I didn't watch it. The teams were meh. In the Winter Classic, either put a really good rivalry, an original six rivalry. Doesn't even have to be an original six rivalry, but a solid rivalry between teams where it's like, okay, this is going to be a really good game. Or put the top two teams in the league and let them go at it.
Yeah.
Entertainment, man. Like, give us something to watch. Chicago versus St. Louis. Like, no offense. Like, I don't care to watch Chicago play in their 30th Winter Classic or their 30th, stadium type of series event. Like, they've been in every single one, it feels like. I'm over it. Like, move on. I don't know.
I see why they selected Chicago. I mean, let's not be stupid here, right? It's because of Bedard. Obviously, that's why they selected that team.
That's fair.
Why would they select St. Louis, though? I guess I'm confused about that, too, because they've been in quite a few number of, if it's not Winter Classics, then Stadium Series.
Series, yeah. I think they've been in a couple, too.
So I agree. Not saying that they don't have good fan bases that wouldn't go to these types of events, but I'm right there with you. I think, you either want to have the best teams in the league doing these types of events, or the teams with rich history, like Original Six teams that have embedded their rivalries for years, right? Chicago versus Red Wings, that's always been one. You could even do Red Wings versus the Penguins, I guess. That wouldn't even be the worst one, right? Because there was that rivalry back in the day, but Avs or Red Wings versus Avs. I don't know. There's so many. Like I said, even if they did Tampa versus Florida, battle for Florida, yeah, anything.
Two teams battling for the wild card. You know
anything
what I mean?
besides Chicago and St. Louis, stop it. Stop it.
Any combination, that's the one. That's so funny.
Okay, so I like the idea of it. Sounds like you like the idea of it, but I'm kind of right there with you. I think, you know, if you're going to Florida, I probably don't want to go to see an ice hockey game or to an ice rink, right? So I don't know. The NHL is just being NHL at this point, Carlo. But
yeah, it's not a surprise.
So, all right, dude. I think that's all we got for today. I don't know if you want to touch on something real quick before we go into final thoughts, but go ahead.
No, final thoughts for me. Vibes are high. Dubs are in the chat. The Lions are playing Minnesota today, and that is going to be a banging game. We need a big dub. We need to keep these dubs in the chat. We got to keep these vibes high, and we need Dan Campbell to get 30 coffees in him starting right now for this 8 o'clock game. I am jacked. I am pumped. I've been listening to Dan Campbell all morning, so pardon me if I'm just a little elevated right now. The guy is just like, every day is a bad day to be a wall when you listen to Dan Campbell. He's just special. He's special. Let's go Red Wings. Let's go Toddfather, and let's go Lions. Final thoughts.
I'm gonna get you a special Dan Campbell helmet.
I would love that. I would absolutely love that.
I'll work on that for you. A gift from me to you.
I appreciate it.
Those are your
one back. We'll do Secret Santa this next Christmas.
Ooh, I'm down for that. Those were your final thoughts, though, buddy.
No secret, though. It's just you and I. Sorry, go ahead.
Those are your final thoughts, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my final thoughts are, Carlo, I think you need to go find some help. You're talking to yourself again. My final thoughts are, let's go Red Wings. Keep it up, even if they end this winning streak. That's okay. I guess I'm at the point where I hope we don't get a top 5 pick, but I still am hopeful that we still hopefully get a top 5 pick in the draft. That would be sweet somehow if we can make the playoffs and get a top 5 pick, but we'll have to wait and see. Justin Hall for
stop. I'm going to stop you. I'm just going to stop you right now.
Those are my final thoughts. Thank you for joining us once again on this brand new episode of Hockey Town Rundown. If you are viewing us on YouTube or any of our platforms, which is Apple and Spotify as well, go ahead and leave us down a comment, but go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Rate us a 5 stars, hit that thumbs up, do whatever you got to do. And until next time, we'll see y'all on the next one. See ya.
Later, guys.